All right, welcome to Wednesday of middle school math 3. Our lesson today is on the surface area of triangular prisms, and our goal today is to be able to find the surface area of those triangular prisms. When we look at a triangular prism, and I have an example of one here, we see these congruent triangular bases, and then we notice there are 1, 2, 3 rectangles that form the sides. So we have the bases that are congruent. Oops. We have the bases that are congruent, the triangles, and then we have these 3 sides, which can be the same, but are not necessarily, often not the same. And we'll talk about what type of triangle affects the length of sides or width of sides. So without further ado, let's jump into our all right, with that triangular prism, we notice there are 2 congruent triangles. We have this triangle down here, and we have this triangle up here. They are congruent, right? Based on definition, they have to be the same. So whatever the area of one is, we can double it. And we'll talk about how we can work with that even quicker. But first of all, let's remember the formula for area of a triangle. I have a lot of students just do base times height again, and they don't remember that the formula is actually 1/2 base times height. Now think about this. We actually have 2 triangles, and those 2 triangles are going to form a rectangle, right? So could we actually just use base times height and not double it? Yeah. If that's confusing to you, though, just use the formula for area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height, and then double it, and that'll give us the 2 triangles. And that's what we're going to do here. We'll use a shortcut on the next problem. So formula for area of a triangle, 1/2 times base times height. The base of this triangle is 4, okay? The height of it is 3, and we're going to double that. And I think we should be able to do multiplication straight across, so let's do it together. 1/2 times 4, 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So the area of these 2 triangles is 12, okay? So let's just put this in a triangle so we don't forget. That's the area of the 2 triangles, okay? Now, let's find the area of the rectangles. Now, when we learned about classifying triangles, we learned there were 3 ways that you could classify them by their sides. First of all, there is the equilateral triangle, where all sides are the same. Now, looking at this triangle here, based on the measurements, is this equilateral? The correct answer is no. They're different, right? Is it isosceles? Isosceles is where 2 of them are the same. No, we see it's 3, 4, and 5, so that leaves scalene. If you have a scalene triangle, these 3 rectangles that encompass it, this rectangle on top and in the back and in the bottom, they're all going to be different. Okay, so we'll find them separately, and we'll talk about that as we go through other examples. So let's jump into it. We have to find one rectangle at a time, starting with this one on the back. And again, I don't have a very exact way to outline these, but hopefully it helps you see them. So we can see that it's 3 centimeters wide. How long is it? Now, some people might notice the 5 centimeters. That 5 centimeters is for the front portion. This 11 centimeters, though, right, that is the length. So we can bring it over here, and we could say that this piece is 3 by 11. Now, the formula for rectangle is base times height, so that's all we need, and we get 33. All right, let's erase that and move on to another rectangle here. Let's move on to this bottom rectangle. Okay, and we can see the length of that is 11, and the width of it is 4. So we're going to do 4 times 11, base times height, and we get 44. All right, and then we just have one more rectangle left, and that is this one on top here. And we see that it's 11 by 5, so base times height, and we get 55. Now, all we need to do is add up rectangles 1, 2, and 3 with the area of the 2 triangles. And remember, this 12 is already doubled, okay? It's already 2 triangles, okay? So let's sneak this 12 in here and start adding them up. 3 plus 4 gives me 7, plus 5 gives me 12, plus 2 gives me 14. I carry the 1. 1, 3 give us 4, 4 and 4 give us 8, 8 and 5 give us 13, 13 and 1 give us 14. So we should have 144 with a label. We would say centimeters squared. So it would take 144 centimeter by centimeter pieces to cover this entire triangular prism. Let's move on to our next example. Now in this one, you notice that I included a net of the triangle. Now, we see some markings here. We see some markings. What do those markings mean? What do those markings mean? It means, hopefully you remember, that those two sides are the same. Now, is there a third marking down here? No, right? So what kind of triangle is this? You would say it is an isosceles, right? It's an isosceles triangle. So this, we see this measurement back here is 7. This measurement back here is 7, right? So that means this side is also 7. And if this side is the same as that side, it is 7 here as well. Now you notice this measurement for 5 over here, that's the height of the triangle. And you could also do it by drawing a little dot, dot, dot down the middle of this triangle, and that would be 5 too. So if that helps you, you can do that. So we have these 2 triangles on the end, and we have these 3 rectangles, and it's a lot easier to see with the net over here. Also notice they have kind of color coordinated everything. They're saying these red triangles are the same, right? This yellow side, because this side of the triangle and this side are the same measurement, these rectangles are going to be the same. All right, and then the green one on the bottom is a different length. You guys can see it's 6 millimeters down there. So it's also, or it's going to be different. So you guys notice this green one is different from the 2 yellow ones. So let's find the areas and we'll write on top of the rectangles and triangles. I think that usually works pretty well. So looking, let's start with our triangles. You can use the formula 1/2 base times height and then double it to find 2 triangles. Or remember, if you just do base times height, you will have the 2 triangles put together in a rectangle. I'll show you the long way again. 1/2 base times height, and we're going to double that. Okay, so 1/2. The base of this triangle is 6, right? The base of this triangle is 6. The height of the triangle is 5. And we're also multiplying that by 2. And again, I think it'll work to go left to right all mentally. So 1/2 times 6 is 3, right? 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. So, and we've already doubled these. So for the 2 triangles, it is 30. Okay? And they're not each 30, right? We already doubled it. If we hadn't doubled it, what would each one be? So instead of multiplying by 2 here, we just stopped. Okay? 1/2 times 6 would be 3 times 5 would be 15, right? So if we want to do it that way, we can say that these are each 15. Hopefully you can see that. All right, let's move on to our rectangles here. Let's do the yellow ones, because if we find one, we'll have the other one, right? And we know that because these sides of the triangle are the same. Now, let's find the area of this rectangle here. That's the yellow one, right? We know that it is 8 long and 7 wide. What is, that's a rectangle, right? So just base times height. What is 8 times 7? Think about it, write it down. And you should be saying 56. Now we do know, since this side and this side are the same, that this rectangle here, right, this one here, and this one here will have the same area. So now all we have to do is find the area of that rectangle that is underneath that green one down there. So I'm going to erase all this work over here, so we're going to have a little bit of space. We have now this green one. We can see that it is 8 long, right? And it is 6 wide. So 8 times 6, because it's a rectangle, just base times height. What are we getting out from 8 times 6? And we should be getting out 48. Okay, so we have the area of all of these pieces. All we need to do is add them up. So let's do it. Go ahead and stack them up on your own paper. Does order matter with addition? The correct answer is no. Oh, I don't have room for both 15s, so I'm going to combine these two 15s, and I get 30. Whoa. Okay, yeah, this is not the best system. Okay, 6, 8, 6, and 0. Let's start adding them up. 6 and 8 give me 14. 14 plus 6 is 20, and then we have that 0, so just 20. We'll carry the 2. 2 and 5 give us 7. 7 and 4 give us 11. 11 and 5 give us 16. And 16 and 3 give us 19. So we get out 190 millimeters squared. All right, let's move on. We have now made it to the homework portion. You are going to find the surface area of these two triangular prisms. Okay, this is very similar to yesterday where you have three things you need to do. So you're going to find the area of triangular prism A, triangular prism B. Use the same methods we used and take a look and see what types of triangles we have there, and that'll affect how many different rectangles you'll need to find the area, if you can double them or if you have to find all three separately. Now, all right, the last part of your homework is to construct a triangular prism, draw a net, and find the total surface area. Now, most of you probably do not have triangular prisms lying around your home, unless you have like a Toblerone, and that probably means you've been to the airport, which you probably have not been. So I'm going to have you make one today, even if you have one around your house. Because when we construct one, we begin to better understand what is going on and we can find the area more easily. So you're going to construct one. You guys see I put one together just with some scrap cardboard, okay? When you're constructing them, you can build or choose what you'd like your triangles to be. If they're equilateral, right, then all these rectangles will be the same. I made a scalene triangle and then all my rectangles had to be a different width. All right, and so you have to match up the width. Yeah, sorry, this is moving backwards from what I'm looking at. You have to match up the width of the rectangle with the side of the triangle. All right, so you'll draw a net. You really, before you tape it together, you could just lay all the pieces out and copy the net, and then that would make finding the total surface area super simple. So 3 parts, A, B, C. Take a picture, email it just like yesterday. Have a good day. Bye.